everybody. Thanks for stopping by the channel. My name's Chuck. Appreciate your time. So this is going to be the final video on ER32 Collet blocks. These guys, there's a Collet block and a hex block that I got from Banggood to do a review on, and the various collection of collets. And if you watch the first video, we had quite a bit of run out on the square block, and I can't remember if I showed the hex block or not, to be honest with you. And then the second video I showed my repair of the square block and the results, and this is going to be the final I'm going to actually try a couple other collets in the block and see if I get the results that I did get earlier. And it appears the block is basically repaired. It's within a home shop tolerance. And when I say that, home shop tolerance, what's that mean? Well, everybody's home shop tolerance is different. Some people, you know, you're just banging something out and 6 thou run out, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on what the part is. And there's some goofballs like me that are trying to chase tenths for whatever purpose. Self-punishment, I guess. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. It's going to be relatively short, and we'll get right to it. Again, thanks for your time. If you enjoy, help the channel grow, share the video, and ring the bell and hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot. So I wanted to start off by showing the ER collet that when I blued up or put red on the stub and then tested the fit. This is after I'd ground that stub. And you see I got a pretty good print, except for right there. But generally got a very good print on that 8-degree stub. And that 8-degree stub there was after it came off the surface grinder. So, I want to beat a horse to death here is what the old saying is. So, here's the square block, and since you've last seen it, I went ahead and chamfered all the edges. It's actually somebody wrote on the last video and said, geez, you had it in the grinder, why didn't you chamfer the edges? And duh. Okay, so the block's all cleaned up, looks real pretty, and I just, to start this video off, just ran another test on the block. And so what you see there, the two black lines, and that was measuring tenths. So it's just under 2 thousandths, about 3 tenths under 2 thousandths in the variance of the pin when I turn the block here and measuring it. So one of the things I did also was Tom Lipton, my good buddy, he mentioned that it's common practice to, once you tighten the collet, to tighten it consistently, and then secondly to tap it with a plastic hammer to set it. I've done that, and I've gotten repeat readings there. So not bad, under 2 thou run out, and if you remember, it was over 6 thou when I first got the block. So what we're going to do next now is I'm going to open up a collet that I haven't tested yet, and we'll just see if it's the collet or the block. So I'll bring you back here in a couple and we'll get started on it. So my selection of choice here is a 5/8 collet, and I've got a 5/8 gauge pin. If that shows up, I don't know. So we'll open it up. And it's covered in all the plastic. And it's got a fair amount of grease on it. And let's see if we have any issues with dings right off the bat. There's a little mark up there, up on the top. All in all, not too bad. 5/8. And next is to look through and see if there's swarf left over in all of the grooves that have been done. So I'm going to go, we'll stop the camera here. I'm just going to check and see if we find anything in here. So far it's looking halfway good. Okay, so running the scale through there, I think you can see that one little piece of swarf. Generally it's pretty clean, but you do need to check these before you move on to see if there's any swarf buildup in there and loose pieces. One of the other ones had quite a bit. So let me finish cleaning this and then we'll get set up. Well, this collet had quite a bit, and I think you might be able to see that hanger there. Thought I'd just show that to you. So they definitely have to be inspected and cleaned. Okay, make sure the collet block is clean. And there's the 5/8 collet. So it's got to put it in the nut first. There's our gauge pin. Whoop. Trying to work around the camera, of course. You can see might be able to see that the little bit of cleaning fluid on my hands. Got it nice and tight. I'm going to give it a little snug with the wrench. So it's snugged in there, and give it a little tap tap. So let's give it a measure and see what we get. Let me reset the camera here. You take a peek at the monitor. A little bit off to the side to get the glare out of it. Okay. So we'll set that guy right there. See if it repeats. Close enough. Quarter turn. Right on it. Amazing. Quarter turn. And we buried it. So we're over 1,000. We'll have to change that. Let's see. Let's go back to that high. That's our high. All right, so let's rechange that, and we're going to move it down to that part of the scale. Get this guy out of the way. All right, pretty close on that needle on the left. Ah, not even touching there. All right, let's stop and let me get it closer so you don't watch me fishing here. Okay, we're back. So actually unloosened the collet, spun the pin a little bit, put the pin back in, retightened it, and show you what we're getting here. So we're on that top black line there, and we're on the red scale, so 10 is 1 thou, 20 is 2 thou. So it's below the mark by about 6/10. It's within that window there. That's our low right now, right there. And this should be back to 0, the far right scale. So this 5/8 pin, we're about, let's see, there's 5/10, 1 thou, 1/10 over a thou, TRR. Not bad. So I guess, you know, there's a whole slew of collets. They'll all have to be cleaned, they'll have to be checked. But it appears the repair that I did on the collet block itself solved the issue that I was having with the severe run out, and that maybe the collets are okay. So far, the couple of collets I've checked, I did check this other guy, it's a 3/4, and it was basically in the same range. So kind of happy with it. I still need to go and grind this guy so that all the sides are concentric with the bore here. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to, maybe I'll report on it later, but that's another job to get taken care of. So anyway, just to follow up on the ER32 Banggood collet blocks, and I think they're at least going to be serviceable for me, and happy I got them. And it's been, you know, the whole thing of trying to figure it out. I have the instrumentation to chase it. It's tedious, but I guess I enjoy it since I'm doing it. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by on the channel. Got an upgrade here at the surface grinder, an add-on to my Suburban Tool master grind. Very fortunate that my good buddy Carl had given me this step tool relief grinding fixture, and here's a picture of it. I haven't used it, and the last time in my last video where you saw me hand turning the master grind while feeding, I said to myself, I got to get a motor drive for this unit and make it much more enjoyable and be able to produce a better product. So so I was thinking about it, and I said, wait a minute, the step tool has a motor. And so sure enough, I looked and I pulled it off. It works fine. I made an adapter for it so it mounts to my master grind, and now no more having to crank by hand. It's got a variable speed on the on it, and it's also reversible. So it's a great addition to the grinder, surface grinding ability here, and really fortunate for Carl to actually give me that. Otherwise I was going to be out looking for a motor. Someday I'll pull this out of the cabinet and have to give it a run and see what I can do. So sometime I get a comment, why do you have two surface grinders? Well, I'm very fortunate that I have two surface grinders. I'm a tool nut, but one's a manual unit and one is the hydraulic unit. But here's the hydraulic unit. The head is all the way up, and unfortunately I'm missing using this fixture on here by probably about 3/16 of an inch based on the size of the wheel. The hand manual unit, which to use the master grind with the electric motor, I don't have to feed anything, just in and out. So, but anyway, just showing you this unit that I can't actually use this setup. And I've done a past video where I use the double sign plate with a fixture on it, and the same thing. This unit does not raise high enough. I was going to set up to grind the hex block so that it's true to the stub that you can see there. And I double checked the stub since it's been in and out of the master grind, and it was out about 5/10. Not crazy, but so I decided to come back, and hey, I get to play with my new motor too, so I thought I'd give you a little shot. Mags on, power on. I had already screwed the wheel up. Well, that was enjoyable, I gotta tell you that. Cleaned up nice, so now we can go on and take this off of the plate and do the hex block grinding. Well, I'm real happy with that. I think you can see the needle. It's just flicking off of the 1/10. So like I said, that was enjoyable and turns out great. So now I'll end up putting the hex block on that and remove the angle fixture and grind the hex block. Well, I thought I'd show this. I've got the hex block on the stub, and before I explain what I just did here, I basically wanted to show you, here's the unit on the stub, and going across there about 2 or 3/10, and comes up to the front, and it drops off about what, almost a thou, but it's pretty well flat across. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and grind it just like that. Pop this for a second, and then checking the height of each gauge with the indicator back here. This one's starting at 0. I went plus 3 thousandths, plus 4 thousandths, plus 4 thousandths, plus 5/10. I think that was one thou, and back to 0. So we'll start grinding on the high one, the 4 thou, and bring all these into the same size and concentric with the stub, with the actual taper. I'm not going to show you the grinding. You've seen grinding, so it's pretty nice here. You know, it's degreed here, so it's every 60 degrees. The unit will lock in and be pretty easy to grind. Well, here's the hex block fresh off the surface grinder, and I chamfered all the corners there. I'll do this other edge later on the surface grinder, but just checked it. It turned out tits, and let's throw Collet in and see what it does. Well, to finish this video up, just tested this guy, and with the 5/16 pin that we were using earlier on the square block, this hex block was out total TIR about 6/10. So winner. That'll do it. We've beat the ER32 to death here. Still have a lot of collets to check, but I think I got the blocks doing well.